Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Press Box High School Football Show. Brian Carson here, along with my co-host Kenny Varner. And Kenny V, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Brian. How about yourself?
Hanging in there, my friend. Hanging in there. Wow, the high school football season, the regular season is over. It's time for playoffs, and we said it over and over again. It went pretty fast, Kenny. It went by pretty quickly.
Yeah, it seemed like after week one, it's like, where'd the time go now? It's playoff time, and the second season starts, and oh man, you just blink and it's gone.
Should be exciting time though. We've been covering here on the Press Box High School Football Show 7 schools, Mifflin, Juniata, Center County, and 5 of them are in the playoffs. So it'll be busy. It'll be busy. But before we get started, a reminder: if you have any suggestions, questions, any ideas for guests that you'd like to see on the show, just get a hold of us at the pressbox9921 at gmail.com. That's the pressbox9921 at gmail.com. So let's kick this off. We'll recap anybody who's new here. We recap the previous week and then tell you what's coming up with our predictions for the playoffs. Playoffs? Yes, playoffs. Already. First up, Mifflin County last week destroyed Redland 41-7, and they ended the season 6-4. It's only in the short history of the school. They started in 2011. It's only their 3rd winning season. 2013, 2018, and now this year they go 6-4 with a nice win over Redland. You had a big game from Landon Eichhorn, 285 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Deacon Schaefer, 111 yards and 2 scores. And Isaac Wilson, 3 catches, 110 yards, 2 scores. And Kenny, you were at that game. Big game all around for Mifflin County.
Oh, definitely. And it started from the very beginning. They took control early and never looked back. Actually, this game was never close. The stats, show it. Total yards, 450 county, and Redland only had 227. It was impressive. It was also a night of records as Deacon Schaefer ran a 66-yard third quarter touchdown to eclipse 1,000 yards for the season. So congratulations to Deacon on that. And he has one more game to add some more to the list. So,
yeah, he's got we've talked about this before, but on Max Preps, he's got 1,027 yards, and that's only the second guy to do it. Heath Hidley had 1,355 back in 2013 for the Huskies. So a nice accomplishment. Landon Eichhorn also on the season, 1,491 yards passing, 15 touchdowns. They are records for Mifflin County. And Wilson, the FEMA winner last year, 37 catches, 565 yards, 6 touchdowns. We got a nice trio there. Reagan Ettinger, 111 tackles and 4 sacks. But now, my friend, we switch to the playoff game. Mifflin County, the 3rd seed in 6A, 6-4, travels to Mansion Park once again to take on the 2nd seed Altoona Mountain Lions, 5-5. They met back in the week 3 with Altoona dominating the Huskies 38-0. They held Mifflin County to only 88 total yards in that game. But, they're coming in off a loss. They were beaten pretty easily last week by Cumberland Valley, 37-6. But in that game, if people remember that far back, it was the Altoona offensive and defensive lines that totally dominated the line of scrimmage. Mifflin County couldn't do much of anything on either side of the ball. and they have to keep that from happening again if they don't want to repeat of what's going down. So as you look at this game, Kenny, what are your and I think you're covering it, correct?
Yes, I'll be up there covering it at Mansion Park tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
And what are your assessment? What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I take quite a few factors into it. This is one of those games where you come into the second time around playing an opponent, and Mifflin County, when they went into that game the first time against Altoona, they have a new coach, a lot of new kids, a lot of new systems. They were just trying to find a way, and Altoona, they were coming in with a 2-0 record, and they handled them quite handily. And but you give Coach Breon some time, and his offensive coordinator Sandy, give them some time to prepare. And I think Mifflin County will stand a better chance this time around. They have the mindset of revenge and a chance to do something that hasn't been done for quite a while for the Huskies. And I just look for it to be a close game. But I believe lightning could strike twice, because back in 2013, I think we talked about this yesterday, they lost to State College the first time, came back and defeated them late in the playoffs. So I'm looking for lightning to strike twice, and I think Altoona, they'll top Altoona 24-21 in the upset.
Wow, going for the upset.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing that they have to do is Alex Yost really burnt them last time. He's the leading rusher and receiver for Altoona. They're not much of a pack. They're not going to. They do when they have to, but they're a running team. During the year, they've averaged 203 yards a game on the ground, and that's what it's going to be. Mifflin County is going to have to stop them at the line of scrimmage, something they didn't do the last time, if they want to have this. If they want to have this win, and of course, you got turnovers always play a part in games like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can't coach size. Altoona, they're 5 losses, but they're deceptive. All 5 losses are in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth, which is one of the toughest conferences in all of Pennsylvania. You have State College, Harrisburg, Cumberland Valley, Central Dauphin, CD East. It's tough. And I just think they play better competition, and they're bigger, and that you can't teach size. I'm going to go. I don't think it'll be a shutout, but I'm going to go with Altoona again, 28-14. Sorry, Mifflin County people, but that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner of that gets the Little Lions, the number 1 seed with a bye. They destroyed Chambersburg 36-7. Played their starters only one half. Lintel took the gas. The foot off the pedal, I should say, because he knew he had it under wraps. It was once again Deontay Sheffy, the freshman, 23 carries, 158 yards, and a touchdown. He ended the season with 1,252 yards and 16 touchdowns in the regular season. And it's State College's first unbeaten season since 2008. And they're just resting, relaxing, and getting the bye. We'll talk more about them next week when they get either Mifflin County or Altoona. But any thoughts on State College and that Chambersburg game?
Oh, Sheffy just totally again impressed for to have 1,200 yards as a freshman, and that's scary because he's going to grow, and he's going to learn a lot more. This is just his first year, so he's got 3 more years to go. So it's going to be scary where he's going to end up by the time his senior year rolls around.
Well, if you remember in that interview with Lintel, he said about the work people don't realize that. Yes, Sheffy has natural talent, but he puts in so much work and he watches so much film to study offenses and defenses and to get better. And if you got a freshman already that has a work ethic like that, yeah, you know what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm. And defensively, the Lions were very optimistic or very opportunistic. I'm sorry. They had 3 interceptions and a fumble recovery in that game. So if the offense doesn't get you, the defense will.
Yeah. And the other thing that's scary is Fermatic is starting to really the one thing that they may have been not a weakness, but something they needed to work on was the passing game. And now the last couple of games for Manic has been he didn't need to pass much, but he was 9 of 15, 104 yards and a touchdown. And the week before, he was just dominating. So now they got both working on all cylinders, plus the defense. I'll tell you what, I looked at them. They came out with the brackets for the playoffs, and I see State College going all the way to the semis. We don't know what'll happen after that, but I think they can get. They got to go through after. I think. Well, we'll get to that in the next week. Whether Altoona or Mifflin County can stand up to them.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know my answer.
Oh yeah,
but they're going to get to the semis, and they're not. They're going to meet. They're going to get past District 7 in the quarters, which is tough, but not like it's been. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it could be another rematch with Harrisburg in the semifinals. They put them. I thought they might have met the way they were going to set it up. It might have been a quarterfinal matchup, but I think it could be the semis. They get a chance, Kenny, of going all the way to the state finals this year.
Oh, I believe that. They've been dominating through the season already, and you give them an extra week too to rest. I mean,
yeah,
and keep everybody healthy. If you can keep everybody healthy, and the sky's the limit for them.
Another team that has a bye is the Juniata Indians, and they put their defense on display once again. No Aaron Zeller. But they beat Susquehanna 19-3 to end their regular season at 7-3. They get. We'll talk about this game first before who they get. Wow, Kenny, it was Heath Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even heard of that kid. Came forward last week against Susquehanna with 128 yards and a touchdown. It's usually been Carnegie running or help me, what's the Lob kid?
Oh yeah.
And now all of a sudden here comes this Heath Hutchinson with 128 yards.
Well, it's funny you talk about Heath because I had him down too. Was whenever I covered them against Lime Mountain, Juniata was struggling. They were trailing going into the half. And then they brought out Heath to in the second half to help with the running game. And you could tell there was a little spark given when he started to get moving and stuff. And he made a big contribution in that game. And I think as each game goes by, he's just going to get better and better. And, that's good when you can rest Aaron Zeller a little bit more if he's back. They have more than just a one trick pony, you know what I mean? They'll have a more equal.
Balance, more balance. You're right. But the thing about them, and you know that, get your comment on that. The thing that's made Juniata win this year is their defense.
Mm-hmm.
They've only given up 88 points all year long. That averages 8.8 a game. And look, they held Susquehanna to 3 points.
Mm. Yeah, and they're doing it again. Aaron Zeller is one of their most prized people on the defensive end too. He's their catalyst there. They've been doing it without him. I think they're like 3-0 without him there. So once he gets back and gets acclimated, they're going to get even tougher.
Yeah, I think it actually helped them because they've learned not that they that can't have him all the time to ride on him and get other people involved. And that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
They got next week we'll talk more about that, but they open up. They have a bye because thankfully Belfont or Johnstown didn't enter themselves in the District 6 4A championships. So they get a bye. They're the District 4. I mean, they're the District 6 4A champs. They get District 9 DuBois up at DuBois next week. And I don't know why they have it slated for Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what it has on the schedule. Thursday night, 7 o'clock at DuBois, who are 5-5 in a PIAA first round matchup. We'll talk about that more next week, but I still don't get the Thursday unless, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they have a bus driver problem too, like Mifflin County does?
All over the state, unfortunately.
Yeah. Next up, a game that we talked about off the air yesterday, last night after before the press box. Penns Valley crushed Bellwood Annis 42. I have 10 there, but it was nothing. 42-0. And Bellwood, traditional power. I know we had Billy Splain on, and Billy said they weren't like they've been in the past. And boy, he was right. Right from the start, it was the Jackson Romig to Miles Brooks show. Romig 11 of 15, 248 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Miles Brooks 6 catches, 142 yards, 2 scores, and Watson had a touchdown, but they didn't even need him in this game. He ran for 12 carries, 48 yards. But wow, and then the defense, they held Bellwood to 87 total yards, including 10 yards passing. And we did say last week on the show that Bellwood was a run-only team. Gavin Ridgway, their quarterback. And they pretty much contained them good all the way around. And the most impressive thing is, and I want to get your comment on Penns Valley, because I know you cover them. They're on a 5-game winning streak. And I mentioned this last week, but now we'll add this week's stat on. In the last 5 games, Romig has 14 touchdowns, 1 interception.
That's incredible.
They are hot, my friend. Talk about the Rams and since you've covered them and I haven't, what your thoughts are on them.
Well, I think they're starting to really turn it on after their second loss. They lost against Bald Eagle, and then they lost the week after. But since then, they've been on a tear. They can mix it up. They have like a 3-headed monster. You got Jackson Romig. He can throw it or run it. Ty Watson, give it to him, and he's Mr. Automatic. And then whenever they get to focusing in, the defense gets to focusing in on those two, they can air it out to Miles Brooks. So it's pick your poison on that. Defense very stingy. Against the Bald Eagle, they had a couple big plays that went against them, and that was it. They pretty much held the Bald Eagle in check, and you know how explosive the Bald Eagle offense can be. So I think that they're really trending in the right direction, peaking when they're supposed to, and I think when they're focused and ready to go. Sometimes it's good to get a loss early in the season if you're going to get one. Chance to build it back up.
And better to get early than late.
Right. And that's what they've done. And kudos to Coach Tobias and his crew for turning things around quickly.
Yeah, I watched that game on the stream, actually. And I had 2 games on the stream, one on my TV, because I got a YouTube app. I watched Mifflin County, Redland, and Penns Valley Bellwood. And what really impressed me was Tobias's play calling, because they came out Bellwood with 8-9 men in the box waiting to get the Ty Watson show, and instead, like second play of the game, fly pattern, long bomb, bam, hits Brooks, touchdown, just like that.
Yeah, and we tend to we said this before, but Romig, only a sophomore, pretty scary there too.
And it's just I'm like you said, I knew about the offense because we talked about it a lot, but I was impressed with their defense and the way they shut down Bellwood. Now, they knew Bellwood wasn't going to pass, so pretty much Penns Valley did the same thing that Bellwood was trying to do, stack the box. The only difference is Penns Valley can pass and Bellwood can't. And yeah, you were talking about the big three. Romig now on the season, 1,741 yards, 22 touchdowns. Brooks has 48 catches, 806 yards, 12 touchdowns. Watson, 1,116 yards, 21 touchdowns. That is a nice big three to have, isn't it?
Most definitely, especially going into this time of the year.
Now they get Double-A this Friday, 7 o'clock at home up in Spring Mills. They are the second seed. The 8-2 Rams take on the 7th seed Mount Union Trojans, 6-4. We know Mount Union because we live in the Mifflin County area. Mount Union's coming off a season-ending loss, 26-22 to Juniata Valley. And they, like Bellwood, are a one-man band. Now, you definitely need the line and all that. I just meant, and I'm not taking anybody for granted, but in the skill position, it's a one-man band with Bryce Danish. He leads them in passing. He's their quarterback, and he leads them in rushing. He has 1,341 yards passing with 12 touchdowns and 1,069 yards rushing with 11 touchdowns. So it's one-man band.
Oh, yeah.
Stop Danish. Have you covered them at all?
No, I haven't. Year? I haven't got a chance to cover them this season. But Mount Union has this reputation of being fierce competitors, no matter what their record is. And usually, when someone stops, someone else will step up. And this defense of theirs they're led by Josh Ryan, who is averaging 12 tackles per game. So he's been one of the top guys for the defense for Mount Union.
And that Ryan name is familiar to wrestling fans.
When I saw that, I was going to ask you, is that
Keith and Kevin, the twins, and just recently their younger brother was a state finalist. So that's tradition there of football and wrestling. But I know they run an RPO, a run-pass option, and Danish obviously is pretty good at it if he has over 1,000 yards passing and rushing. Not many quarterbacks in the area have both.
No, and he's averaging 134 yards through the air and 106 yards rushing.
So he's the guy. So
yeah,
what you got to do, I guess, if you're Tobias and them, is prepare for that RPO and have somebody spying, keying on Danish.
Keep him uncomfortable.
Yes. So I think they would rather have him throw than run.
Yes. Yeah.
I would. It's high school. Easier to run. So your thoughts on this game and your prediction?
Okay. I think the Rams are, like I said before, they're peaking at the right time. They have all facets of their games moving right along. I think they're laser focused in on the district title. And after their impressive win over Bellwood Annis, I think much of the same will happen Friday night as Penns Valley takes a 35-7 victory.
We are close about the score. I believe it'll be 35-14 Penns Valley. Penns Valley, too many weapons for Mount Union to stop. They have a better defense too than Mount Union's defense, and just too many weapons to stop. And really, Mount Union just has to key on one kid. So yeah, Penns Valley stays on a roll 35-14. Next up, talk about hot, even hotter. The Bald Eagle area Eagles go down the Purchase Line, who was a borderline playoff team. They were 4-5 and shuts them out 19-0. Now, Bald Eagle couldn't get their offense going, but that's because, we talked about Carson Nagel. He's young, sophomore. He had 3 interceptions in the game, and they had a fumble too. So it was turnovers and penalties, but Bald Eagle was in control right from the start. They've won 5 games in a row now, and they've outscored their opponents 178-27.
Wow.
We knew they had the offense,
Mm-hmm.
but now here comes the defense. And I think Bald Eagle area is one of the scariest teams coming into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely what they call white hot.
Yes.
Yeah, they've come together as a team. Even when they were playing some of their lower competition, they stayed laser focused. That's just nice little pep word I just started to use. But
I like laser focused.
But they've been very focused and ready to go. Even they didn't want to allow any let-ups, any chance of any kind of upsets or anything. They know what they have to do. They give 110% on every play. For those who watched you, the defense, they've gone under the radar a lot this season, but they've come up clutch in numerous times, especially in that game against Penns Valley, where it was really close. They had their ears back in the fourth quarter and was able to pull out the win. So from there, it's just skyrocketed for them. And I think that they got another like 3-headed monster: Carson Nagel, Cahale Burns, and Trey Green.
Yes, they do. I was looking at their stats. They're like Penns Valley with that 3-headed monster. Nagel, just a sophomore, as we said, 2,139 yards, 22 touchdowns this year. Green has 766 yards rushing and 8 scores. And Burns, 54 catches, 746 yards, 7 touchdowns. Those 54 catches have to be the most in the area, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you?
Oh, I would definitely say that, yeah.
But then on the defensive side, Cameron Watkins, who's also a receiver, had another sack. He's got 18.5 tackles for loss and 9.5 sacks this year. So they got a pass rush. They got a stifling run defense. Nagel is mastering that spread offense. And just like Penns Valley, very, very scary team, Bald Eagle area.
Yes, and their secondary sneaky good as well.
So, coming up, the team we just mentioned, Bellwood Annis, Bald Eagle area, 3rd in District 6 AA, 7-3, take on number 6 Bellwood Annis, 6-4, and we just went over covering Bellwood Annis with Penns Valley, so I'll just get a score from you.
Okay, I think the big 3 will make quite the impression again, and with Bellwood still trying to recuperate from that devastating loss against Penns Valley. I don't think they'll be totally ready for what the Eagles have to dish out. And I think that Bald Eagle will just dominate this game. And I say it's going to be 42-7.
I agree with that. I think it's going to be in that range. I'm going to say 38-7. Bald Eagle area, just too hot right now. Bellwood Annis, one-dimensional. And besides that, the excitement will come later. Do you know who Bald Eagle, did you see the brackets? Who Bald Eagle's opponent is if they beat Bellwood?
No, who's that?
Penns Valley if they beat Mount Union.
Oh, rematch.
A rematch. I like that. But yeah, Bald Eagle 38-7 over Penns Valley. Now we got our final 2 games from last week to go over. Neither of these teams are going to be in the playoffs, but one of them ends on a great note. The Phillipsburg Osceola Mounties win their second game in a row, crushing Ridgeway 56-34. They are a running team, and they're three-headed. We talked about three-headed monsters. They're three-headed monster in the backfield. Sam McDonald, well, Jacody Jones, 154 yards, 4 touchdowns. Sam McDonald, 121 yards and a touchdown. Dayton Barger, 111 yards. The Mounties ran for 395 yards in the game, and they end the year 3-7. Even though the record's not great, you're ending it on 2 straight wins, and that is definitely a positive heading into next season.
Oh, it sure is. And in the last 2 games alone, they've scored 120 points. So if you're gonna go out firing like that, you just wish that they could have done it a little bit sooner, or found that niche a little bit sooner where they might be able to qualify for the postseason. But great effort with nothing to lose. You got to give the Mounties credit. They went out like champs, and like you said, it's going to be a nice springboard coming into the next season.
Yeah, and the good news for Phillipsburg fans, Jones, Barger, and McDonald are all coming back.
Oh, nice.
Jones and Barger are juniors. McDonald's a sophomore. Jones ran for 635 because they split the backfield a lot. 635 yards, 5 touchdowns. Barger had 577 and 4, and McDonald had 456 and 3. Put them together, that's like a 1,800 yard runner. And they're all coming back. So good news for the Mounties there. It's just, their problem the last couple of years has been numbers.
Right.
They just don't get a lot of kids out, and they don't have depth if anybody gets hurt. And this year they were one-dimensional and really couldn't pass the football.
And sometimes it's kind of like a catch-22. In order to get better, you got to have more depth. But to get more, you got to win games,
Right.
So it's hopefully they can find a way to put together some more wins next year, and maybe that'll just get the excitement going for the Mountie program, and more kids will jump on board, and the team won't have any depth problems.
But it is a positive, winning those 2. It's at least doesn't leave the sour taste in your mouth if you lose your final game. Then you got to wait all the way till next year,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, unfortunately, Bellefonte could not win their last game. Brookville 41-3. Bellefonte, just like we talked about every week, it's offense.
Right.
They don't have any. They're 3 and out, then the defense is on the field too long and they get tired and give up points because the offense is 3 and out. You mentioned too before about the injuries that hit them, and their numbers aren't great anyway, and you add the injuries on top of that. But this offense, Bellefonte finishes 1-9 on the season. They only scored 67 points all year. They rushed for 327 yards. That's all season.
Wow. And you take 21 of that away, and that was one game at Penns Valley. That was it. That's, that they had 21 points in that game. So you take that away, it's what, 46?
Yeah.
So.
And then they only passed for 839 yards. So they averaged 33 yards rushing a game and 90 yards passing. You're not going to win many doing that.
No, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, though, because we talked about this earlier too, is sometimes when you're young, you got to take your lumps. You got to appreciate the season you had and realize that it's not going to be like that anymore. Like Mifflin County last year, they didn't win a game, and they had a lot of young kids. This season starts, they're in the playoffs. So, they can turn it around. Just, got to have faith, and they need a few things to go their way early, and it could change the whole entire face of the program. Just got to keep a positive outlook on next year.
Yeah, and also high school. The older I get, high school goes fast.
Mm.
Enjoy it.
Yes, exactly.
Enjoy it while you can. Enjoy playing the game. You know, even if the wins don't come your way, still enjoy it.
Hmm.
All right, let's go over real quick. Excuse me. Did you hear that in my voice? I got real high for a second. Okay. We'll go over the District 6 playoff brackets real quick. In Class A, number one seed Penns Manor will face Glendale, the eighth seed. Number four seed Juniata Valley will meet fifth seed Portage. Second seed Northern Cambria faces seventh seed Moshannon Valley. Third seed Cambria Heights takes on sixth seed Homer Center. Penns Manor is state ranked in that group. They are seventh in the state. Um, I don't know too much about those teams, to be honest. I
Mm,
mean, we don't get out that way to cover them too much, so I'm
right.
gonna take the Pennsylvania Football News word for it and say that's probably Penn Cambria's to lose. Class Double A, number one seed Richland takes on eighth seed West Shamokin. Number four seed Bishop Guilfoyle takes on fifth seed Southern Huntington. Number two, Penns Valley takes on number seven Mount Union. Number three, Bald Eagle area takes on number six Bellwood. Richland is ranked sixth in the state out of this group. Definitely, Kenny, the toughest class in District 6.
Oh, most definitely, from top to bottom. Um, Especially Richland, Bald Eagle, and Penns Valley, man.
And you throw in Bishop Guilfoyle,
Hmm.
who's won, I think, four state championships in their past. You've got you got that definitely the double A is a murderer's row to get through.
Hmm.
Now we get to a little easier ones. Triple A, Penn Cambria, the number one seed, is a bye. They will meet the winner of Tyrone and Central. And then in 4A, Juniata, I guess that since nobody came,
Hmm.
from the AAA side, from the District 6 side. Du Bois is the only 4A and 9. They're going to meet in the first round of PIAA playoffs. 5A, there was no playoffs because Central Mountain, it's a combination with 6 and 8. Central Mountain and Hollidaysburg and Brashear, all of them didn't participate because they had really bad records and decided not to go. And then 6A, we went through State College, the number one seed gets a bye. They will meet the winner of Altoona and Mifflin County. Also, coming up this weekend, something that's a tradition, and Mr. Varner is a part of it now. You're part of that tradition. You're like I'm trying to think, like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade.
Uh-huh.
You and the midget and Pee Wee football championships, the Central Keystone League championships will be. Is it this week?
Yep.
And at
This
at Mitchell Field, correct?
right. Yep.
Give
Yep.
us a rundown.
Okay. Well, I'll be camping out for the whole weekend there. Things start at noon on Saturday, as the fifth and sixth seed Pee Wees will play. That'll be the fifth seed Burnham Bulldogs against the Derry Decatur Cyclones. Then the next game will be 2:30, and that'll put up Terrace, the number three seed, against McVeigh the four seed, and then capping off the night at 5 is the Pee Wee Championship, and it'll be the Kish Indians. It's a battle of Indians, the Kish Indians and Juniata Indians. They're both tied for the top spot. So, and then
Nice.
and then Sunday things will start a little bit earlier at 10:30. Don't forget to turn your clocks back, people. Um, it'll be
Right. Fall behind.
Yep, and that'll start at 10 o'clock. That'll be the midget playoff, and I believe it's the Terrace Tigers against the Derry Decatur Cyclones. Then at 12:30, I get to put on the coach's hat, and our Burnham Bulldog special needs team will go up against HWF Wrestling in their Super Bowl, and that's always a fun time. And then at 3 o'clock, there's the Mighty Might Extravaganza, where they split the field up, and they have a couple games and participating this year's McVeytown, Kish, Burnham, Juniata, Derry, Decatur, and Terrace. And then it'll wind up at 5 o'clock with a really good matchup in the midget championship game. It'll be number 1 Burnham Bulldogs against the Kish Indians. So very, very busy weekend, very, very fun weekend. Right now, the weather says most of the time it's going to be in the 70s. So
yeah, you're gonna have fun. This broke right for you. It's supposed to be in the 70s all weekend.
I know, it's great. Normally we're shivering and have layers, and this year,
yeah, we got our Indian summer later.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah, I agree. Also, we want to give a shout out to yesterday. The Mifflin County girls soccer team won the District 6 AAA championship, and their first one ever. And great job by head coach Barrett Knapp and Aubrey Strohacker. She can score from anywhere.
Oh, she's a machine. She's such a great kid too. Yeah, another two goals for her. Definitely the team leader, and they'll play now Saturday. For you fans out there that want to see a good game, they'll be up at the North Field in State College, and they'll start their state playoff run. So
let's hope they can go far.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Got a heavy heart here tonight. Mr. Varner told me that a good friend of ours, Chip Allmiller, passed away. And it stunned me because Chip and I are pretty good friends. We text and email all the time during wrestling season. And we wanted to give a little, I don't know how to say it, just to honor Chip. And, I'm going to miss him, and I know Kenny will too. It's not going to be the same without him in wrestling season, but it just goes to show you not to take anything for granted, because it's times like these and events like these that show you, you don't have forever, so make the most of it. Chip, we're going to miss you, buddy.
We will.
So you got a biz. What's coming up for you in this busy time? I know you got the midget Pee Wee football and Mighty Mites, but you also tomorrow night you're going to Mifflin County Redland, right?
Right. I'll be there, and tonight when we get off the air, I'll head over to Bald Eagle area, where State College volleyball will try to pick up another District 6 championship as they go up against Central Mountain. That's at 7 o'clock. So, yeah, it's the busy season, but you know what? I love it.
You are a busy guy.
Yes, and I love being busy. I like all these teams winning, so I can go out and cover this stuff. The busier I am, that means the more wins the local kids are getting. So, yeah, keep me busy. My wife says the same thing. So
nice. Well, by the way, what do we got coming up? The Eagles tonight take on the Houston Texans in a game that is like, why is it on TV?
Yeah.
Probably going to be the Eagles cruising. It's amazing to me, but they've been around. Philadelphia Eagles have been around since the 30s, and they've never gone 8-0.
That's insane.
If they win tonight, it'll be their first time ever going 8-0.
Wow.
And since we're on football here, isn't this the strangest thing you've ever seen? The favorites for this year, in order, were to be Tampa Bay, the Rams, and Green Bay. Tampa Bay's 3-5, Green Bay's 3-5, and the Rams are 3-4.
Yeah, this is definitely a weird season.
And I didn't get your thoughts. The Steelers trading Chase Claypool.
Well, I think it was a good thing because Claypool has been a off the field problem. He hasn't really performed since his rookie year, and sometimes he's caused a lot of mental mistakes on the field too that cost Pittsburgh some drives that could have changed fortunes for them last year. And this year he was, I guess, their third leading receiver. So they didn't need him anymore with the acquisition or with the picking up Pickens from Tennessee.
Yeah,
So
he's going to be good.
yeah, and I think the Pickett to Pickens combination will be one that you'll start to see here real soon, and it'll be the norm.
I just wonder what Claypool's feeling like right now because even though the Steelers are down this year, they have
Mhm.
a history of winning. And now he's got traded to a team that throws the ball least of any team in the NFL.
And they just got rid of their two defenders that were the anchors on the defense. So kind of don't know what they're doing out there in Chicago right now, but they say they have a plan, and we'll see. But they at least gave Fields a little bit of help there with Claypool because I think put in the right position, Chase Claypool can be a great receiver, but he's got to
Well,
really start to focus.
yeah, you can't say that about high school kids, but you can about pro, and I'm going to say it. Justin Fields is a terrible quarterback.
Mm.
Justin Fields should have never been drafted top 10. Jalen Hurts can run and throw.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen can run and throw. Justin Fields can run.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a win.
Okay, I think we lost Brian. So I think he was going to say that it was a waste of a draft pick. And there
Yeah,
he is.
buddy. Sorry, I dropped off a second. You there? Kenny. Kenny Warner. Well, okay, it looks like we had some technical issues with the internet here at the end. I want to thank everybody for coming on and listening to us today. A lot of good high school football here. Playoff time is right here, and can't wait for the postseason to start here on Friday. I'm trying to see if Kenny will come back on. If not, uh, I want to thank everybody. There he is, Mr. Warner.
I think
Sorry, Kenny.
I think we ran into a hack that was a Bears.
I don't understand. I mean, we were going great, and then all of a sudden, I was the first. I completely dropped off. Hey, it's live streaming. That's what happens sometimes.
Well, I think a hacker got in there that was a Chicago Bears fan and didn't want to hear it.
Yeah, they didn't want to hear me talk about it. I didn't even get started on Notre Dame,
Oh,
where
boy.
Claypool's from. No wonder he's like,
Mm-hmm.
not following routes or doing anything like that. But yeah, I was getting ready to sign off. I was waiting for you to come back on.
Okay.
Sorry about that. We had a little problem with the connection, but we solved it back on. Any thoughts before we go, Kenny?
Well, I just want to give a shout out tonight for two local teams as well. Juniata, their boys soccer team, and the East Juniata boys soccer team are all battling tonight for district championship. So good luck, guys, and bring it home.
Awesome. Sounds good. Okay, that's going to about wrap it up for us tonight. We will see you back here again next Wednesday for the Press Box show, and then Thursday, the high school football show, playoff edition, another one. And that's going to do it. So for Kenny Varner, I'm Brian Carson. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go out and watch some good football, the high school games, college games, and everybody take care.
Good night, everybody.